Mr. President, I'm going to be joined shortly on the floor by Senator John Walsh of Montana and Senator Debbie Stabenow of Michigan, who are going to speak to the bill that's pending before us. Until they arrive, though, I'd like to set the context here. We're trying to create incentives in the tax code to bring good-paying manufacturing jobs back to the United States, to incentivize companies that will bring jobs from their overseas facilities back into our country and put Americans to work. And how do we pay for it? Is we reduce the current subsidies which we give to American companies to ship jobs overseas. Pretty simple. So the vote really comes down to the question of whether or not Democrats and Republicans in the Senate want to create an incentive in the tax code to keep jobs, good-paying jobs in America, to build the workforce in America so that they have a future, and to discourage shipping American jobs overseas. I don't know what the debate's about. I don't know what Republican could go to a town meeting in any state in the union and argue this is not a good idea. It's a very important idea. And it's one that we want to use to repopulate the United States with good-paying jobs and hardworking families getting the kind of money that they deserve. We're in the midst of a debate now, a national debate, and it's touched the state of Illinois, about something called inversion. And most people are not familiar with that term. It's a situation where an American company moves, at least on paper, moves its headquarters of operations to a foreign country to avoid paying American taxes. And we have major companies that are doing it, some that are considering making that move. The president spoke to it last week, and I think the president hit the nail on the head. It isn't a question of whether it's just legal, it's a question of whether it's right. Is it right for a company, for example, a pharmaceutical company, that has depended on the federal government to build their company, build their products, and build their profitability, to walk away from their tax responsibilities in America? You know, you don't put a successful drug on the market unless it starts with research. And most research begins with our government. The National Institutes of Health, about $30 billion a year, does basic research which leads to new discoveries, new drugs. Those efforts at basic research are converted into pharmaceuticals and drugs, which are then developed by these private companies. When the private companies think they've finally found the right combination, they have to submit their drug to the Food and Drug Administration, which is the regulatory agency in Washington, which tests their drug to make sure that it doesn't harm people, and in fact, it performs as promised. It takes some time. It takes a lot of taxpayers' money. But when the Food and Drug Administration then hands down its decision that your drug is safe to go on the market, you have just received the most amazing endorsement possible in the world for a drug, that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has approved it for sale in the United States of America. It is a ticket to success and profitability. But it isn't ended at that point. You have to protect your right in that drug, and to protect it, you go to the U.S. Patent Office and make sure that there is a registration that protects your legal right to make a profit on that drug and keeps others from duplicating it at your expense. Look at that process that led to the profitability of these blockbuster drugs. National Institutes of Health research, taxpayer funded. Food and Drug Administration approval, taxpayer funded. Patent Office protection, taxpayer funded. Now, major pharmaceuticals are saying, well, it sure would be nice to stay in America, but what we're going to do is move our office, corporate headquarters, to a European country, or perhaps to the island of Jersey, which I'm not sure I could find on a map. And in doing so, we won't have to pay as many federal taxes to America. Is that ingratitude? It certainly is. You've used all these federal agencies to become profitable, and now you walk away from your federal tax responsibility? There's another side to this coin. When these companies invert and move overseas, their tax that they don't pay is a burden shifted to other American companies and other American taxpayers. They're getting off the hook for American taxes, but they're pushing the burden on to others. We've got to come to grips here with the reality that many major companies are using global commerce and global opportunities at the expense of America. We've got to encourage good-paying jobs in this country and companies that stay in this country. We need to reward in our tax code American-based companies headquartered in America with their jobs in America, paying a good wage, good benefits, veterans preferences. Give them a break in the tax code. Don't subsidize companies that want to move their jobs overseas. The bill before us gets to that basic question. Should our tax code incentivize bringing jobs back from overseas, or should it incentivize and encourage shipping jobs overseas? It's a simple vote, and I hope it's overwhelmingly positive and bipartisan when it comes before us. We know that our country can grow with the right encouragement because we're lucky. For those of us who were born here, we were born into one of the strongest democracies in history. We're born into an economic system that creates opportunity for those who are educated and trained and strive to improve themselves. And we also know that we have a responsibility here in the Senate, in the House, and in the White House to create a tax climate and an economic climate for that kind of growth. That's what we're trying to do with this bill. A fair shot for American companies so that they can bring jobs home and be incentivized and rewarded to do it, and discouraging those companies that do just the opposite. I think this is a front and center issue. Good-paying jobs are the key to restoring the middle class in America, something that I think is long overdue, to create an incentive for people who are struggling to see at the end of that rainbow a chance to raise a family in a good neighborhood and a good church and parish and a good state that really helps America grow. I will be supporting this measure before the Senate this morning. I'm going to yield the floor and suggest that during the quorum call that the time be equally divided between Democrats and Republicans.